weekly roundup, Columbia week. I think 4. I think I've been here for a month now. So, it was a specific couple of issues that, well, not couple, but specific things that highlighted that came up that I wanted to kind of cover. One which was insanely, amazingly interesting to me. Today happened. So this morning before the first class, the students, for some reason in 10th and 11th grade, I was teaching a 10th grade class, chose to stay downstairs. The student body president, or the equivalent of that or whatever, went to the different classrooms and called the classes downstairs, and they had a specific discussion where a lot of the students were bothered because upset. It kind of takes anger. They were bothered about a situation that was going to happen for tomorrow. Specifically, what happened is the students were going to be asked. The students' schedule is from 6:30 in the morning until 12:30 in the afternoon, and then they normally go home. And then the elementary kids come in, and the older grade students are finished for the day. Essentially, what happened is the students were told either last night or this morning that they were going to have to stay tomorrow for the entire day, so from 6:30 until 6:30, and they were going to get extra classes for like elective classes, so art and etc. But it was going to be people that were going to come in. The students were fine with it, but the students asked a question specifically about food. So, normally, because the students are in school from 6 to 12:30, 6:30 to 12:30, they have a break about 9:30 and they go eat. And they have their own money, so they pay for their food. And a lot of them, they go eat and they have their half an hour break and they eat their food. So the students' concern was, okay, so at 12:30, normally they go home and eat about 12:30, 1 o'clock. And they wanted to know, was the school going to provide food for them? Because if you're asking the kids to be at school for 12 hours, are you going to provide a second meal for them that they're not going to get at home? And the school essentially, from my understanding, told them no. So the students decided, 10th and 11th grade, that they were going to protest. They would decide they were going to pass on coming to school tomorrow and protest because the school asked them to do something, and in return they gave them nothing. So yes, there's the education, but basic sustenance, food and stuff like that, kind of sort of important. The kids saw that was their linchpin. That was it. They all banded together. It was absolutely beautiful. The thing, and unfortunately this time this goes over 5 minutes, which is disappointing because I thought I could get out in 5 minutes. But anyways, the day goes through. I'm talking to my co-teacher. The co-teacher agreed and said, it is unfair to ask the kids to do that. In addition to that, if the school had allowed the students to go home, the school would be liable and responsible if these kids went home, something happened to them, and they didn't come back because they required these kids to be at the school all day. So it became a liability issue in addition to an issue where the student felt like basic necessities, possibly rights, were being kind of trounced on. Anyways, later on in the class, my next to last class, the class was about 11:30, 12, something like that. It was another 10th grade class, and the 10th grade class had 11th grade representatives come in. They explained what was going to happen the next day and how they were kind of banding together. The teachers supported them coming in the room. I really appreciated that. I thought that was very, very powerful. And they explained what was going on. Well, there was one student who was curious and had a contrary opinion, and he essentially asked, well, if we do this, I feel like there's consequences, and what exactly is the student body going to do for me if I get in trouble and there's consequences X, Y, Z? And a lot of kids around the class was like, oh, look at this guy, why is he being like that, et cetera, et cetera. And what was interesting is that the two older students that came in showed poise, and they explained what was happening and how this is a basic, necessary right. And the kid who was asking the contrary questions were powerful questions. And I thought it was powerful that he stood up and that he put his opinion in there because he was concerned about himself. And he refused to follow in just groupthink. At the end of the day, they answered his question. He was satisfied. He was like, okay, well, I'm with it. And I thought that was a fabulously interesting occurrence of the power of students and why school is necessary for the socialization of kids. And I will be finished before 5 minutes. So in 7 seconds, I will say peace, and I'll do another one because I think I could. But thank you.